Kyle was 13 years old when he threw his first punch. It was not on a stage. It was not in a gym. It was in a dirty alley behind a convenience store. 3 boys were laughing at him. One of them shoved him, and something inside Kyle snapped. He did not cry. He did not run. He swung. And for the first time in a long time, he felt something powerful, something that felt like control. But what Kyle did not know then was that the thing he was chasing in those streets was never really power. It was peace. And the road to finding it would change everything about who he was. If you love real stories about real people who found a way through the dark, you might want to subscribe. We share stories like this every week. No pressure. Just come along if it speaks to you. Kyle grew up in a house where silence was loud. His father left when he was 8. His mother worked 2 jobs, so most nights Kyle came home to an empty apartment and a cold plate of rice on the stove. He was not a bad kid. He was a lonely one. And lonely kids find belonging wherever they can. For Kyle, that place was the streets. The boys there did not ask hard questions. They just accepted him. All they needed from him was one thing: to be tough. So Kyle became tough. He got into fights. He chased respect with his fists. He built a reputation. And every time someone crossed him, he handled it the only way he knew how. But every night, when the noise died down, there was still that emptiness, still that feeling that no matter how hard he hit, nothing inside him was getting better. One evening, Kyle got into a bad fight, bad enough that a neighbor called the police. He sat in a waiting room for 3 hours before his mother came to take him home. She did not shout. She did not cry. She just sat beside him in the car, stared straight ahead, and said something he never forgot. Kyle, fire does not care who holds it. It burns everything it touches, including the hand that carries it. He did not understand it fully that night, but he felt it. A few weeks later, his school coach, a quiet man named Mr. Pascal, pulled him aside after class and said, "You have fire in you, son, real fire. But fire with no direction burns the house down. Fire with direction becomes light." He looked at Kyle for a long moment and then said simply, "Come to the gym tomorrow morning." Kyle showed up, not because he believed, but because he had nothing else to do. The gym was old. The bags were worn. The air smelled like sweat and rubber. Mr. Pascal handed Kyle a jump rope and said, "Start here. 5 minutes, no stopping." Kyle lasted 90 seconds before his lungs gave out. He was embarrassed. He was used to winning. He was used to being the toughest one. But here in this gym, with a simple jump rope, he was the weakest person in the room. He almost walked out. Then he looked at the other boys. Some of them were smaller than him. Some looked younger. But every single one of them was still going, heads down, feet moving, no stopping. Something about that image cracked something open in him. He picked the rope back up. That was the day Kyle learned the most important truth of his life, that pain is not the enemy. Running from pain is. The boys in that gym were not trying to avoid struggle. They were walking straight into it every single morning on purpose. And that choice, that simple daily choice to keep going when it hurt, was the thing that was slowly turning boys into men. Not the trophies, not the crowd, not the wins, just the quiet, private decision to show up again. That was discipline, and discipline was the one thing no one could ever take from you. Kyle started small. He came to the gym every morning at 6. Some days he did not want to. Some days his body ached and his mind told him to stay in bed, but he came anyway. He learned to jump rope without stopping. Then he learned footwork, then combinations, then how to breathe through the pain instead of against it. He stopped going out at night, not because someone told him to, but because he started valuing his mornings too much to waste them recovering from bad decisions. He began to sleep better, think clearer. He started doing his schoolwork because Mr. Pascal told him that a sharp mind and a strong body were a team. You could not build one and ignore the other. It was not magical. It was slow. It was boring some days, but something was building, quietly, steadily, the way real things are built. 14 months after his first day in that gym, Kyle stood in a regional boxing ring for the first time. His hands were wrapped, his heart was pounding, the crowd was loud. He lost that first fight in the second round, but he stood back up. Both times he was knocked down, he stood back up, and when the final bell rang, Mr. Pascal wrapped both arms around him and said, "That is the proudest I have ever been of anyone in this gym." Not because Kyle won, but because 6 months earlier, that same kid had been in an alley throwing fists out of pain, and now he was in a ring, taking hits with discipline, on purpose, building something. 1 year later, Kyle won his first regional title. He was not the same boy from the alley. He was not even close. He was focused. He was calm. He had learned to channel every bit of his fire into something that served him instead of destroying him. Pain does not make you weak. Pain is just energy that has not found its direction yet. Kyle did not become a champion because life got easier. He became one because he stopped running from the hard thing and started walking into it every single morning with intention. That is available to every one of us, not just the ones with coaches, not just the ones with talent. Every single person watching this has fire inside them. The only question is whether you will let it burn the house down or let it become the light that guides you forward. If this story moved something in you, if it reminded you of something you have been putting off, subscribe to this channel. We are not just sharing stories here. We are building a community of people who are serious about becoming stronger, sharper, more intentional, one story at a time. Come and be part of that journey. If this story meant something to you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe so you never miss a story that could be the one that changes something in you. Every like, every share, every subscription is not just a number, it is you saying yes to a better version of yourself, and that matters. Do not wait for the pain to stop before you start building. Start building and watch the pain become the foundation. Start today, not tomorrow, today.